Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guests today are from the upcoming Cedar Rapids Opera production of Too Many Sopranos. Gwen Sell. Gwen, welcome.
Thank you.
Jeffry Goldberg.
Thank you for having me.
And Katie Stuelke. And Katie is with the opera marketing
and office manager.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So we forced Katie into the lineup. I said, no. Somebody's got to come who knows ticket information and website and all that. So thank you for stepping in.
Absolutely.
The opera is Too Many Sopranos. Gwen, I know that you've been in Cedar Rapids before, right?
Yes, I have. I was here in January.
And where do you come to us from?
I'm coming from Indiana. I just graduated from Indiana University. So, go Hoosiers.
And Jeffrey, well, yes, and as we were talking off mic, a lot of us are Indiana fans these days because of women's basketball. Yes. So yeah, so we're all Midwesterners and I-states all together.
Yep. Absolutely.
And Jeffrey, where do you hail from?
Born and raised in Southern California, just right outside Los Angeles. Though I did spend a couple years in Chicago getting my master's at Northwestern. Last couple years I've been in Southwest Florida as well, doing some work with Opera Naples. So kind of all over.
I get that itinerant life of an opera performer.
Yes, exactly.
Who wants to tell me a little about Too Many Sopranos?
Sure, I can.
Okay.
It is a fascinating plot, I will say. Takes a lot of tropes and stereotypes and does a lot of playful jabs at a lot of opera stereotypes, soprano stereotypes, conductor stereotypes, every stereotype you've ever heard in classical music, but in a very fun and loving way. It takes place at the gates of heaven, in which there are too many sopranos, as it were. And there is only one spot available in the heavenly choir, so all these divas have to audition. And hilarity ensues, of course.
And what's your role in the show?
I am playing the role of Orson, who is a stage director. He comes in Act 2 when, spoiler alert, they end up in hell to try to find more tenors and basses.
Okay.
So I play the stereotypical stage director who only knows how to name drop and talk about himself and bores everybody.
And Gwen, what about you?
I played the Sandman. I was kind of playing into the Hansel and Gretel trope of the fairy that comes in. And I'm a messenger from heaven. So I come down to them when they're in hell, and I tell them what they need to do in order to get all these tenors and basses up to heaven.
And Katie, this is the history of this opera. It was actually commissioned for Cedar Rapids back in the day.
Yes, this is an original Cedar Rapids opera commissioned by Edwin Pennerwood, who is actually from Indiana as well, but a friend of Daniel's. So Daniel Kleinknecht, the founder of Cedar Rapids Opera, commissioned this opera back in 2000 when Cedar Rapids Opera was only 2 years old.
Very new,
yes. So just brand new, and it's really exciting to be doing it again.
And so this piece then was probably very new to you.
Actually, no.
No?
I've done this one before.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, so it's getting out there.
Yeah, it is. I did it my freshman year of college. It was the first opera I ever did.
At Indiana?
Actually, my undergrad, I went to Butler University.
Oh, okay.
Also in
Indiana.
Indiana.
I was giving you another chance to say go Hoosiers.
I know, go Hoosiers, but I appreciate it.
It is actually one of the most widely performed contemporary operas of this century.
Isn't this production the 150th or something?
I don't know.
I've heard that number as well.
Wow. Okay. So this is, it's not, yeah. So an original commission for us here in Iowa, and then people really like it. So that's very fun. Mm-hmm. It's got to be kind of fun to be able to sing in English. I'm guessing it's in English.
It is.
Tell me it's in English.
It
Yeah.
is. It is.
Is that, rare, somewhat rare for, for an opera singer, or is there more of that these days?
I think there's more of that than some of the stereotypes would lead you to believe. I mean, just about every modern opera written in, America will be written in English. Yeah. I mean, even some productions will do old, like Mozart operas in English or various other things. More often than not, when you're doing some older stuff, it'll be in Italian or French or German. But even like dating back to Handel in the, 1600s, like he wrote operas in English as well. Mm-hmm. So it's not unheard of, but definitely nice, I think, to be singing in the vernacular. as it
Another one of those tropes that we're
Yes,
bringing.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
all operas are in Italian. Yeah, not the case here.
Cedar Rapids Opera will actually be doing a production of Cendrillon in January that we will be performing in English.
Oh,
So,
okay.
which is usually obviously in French.
Right. Oh, yeah. Very nice. Little sneak peek of what's
little
coming up for the opera. So the show goes up on the 20th. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, weekend of the 20th. So where are you in the rehearsal process, Jeffrey?
We actually just staged my aria
Oh.
last night, which means we have staged everything except the finale. So it's really coming along quite fast.
All right.
We've only been here like a week and a day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
So
arrived here on Tuesday last week.
Okay. So,
so
yeah,
it's
it comes
really coming along fast.
Yeah, it goes fast. Well, Gwen, since you are the only one amongst us who has done this show before, tell me about your reactions to doing it, now as opposed to a freshman in college, doing it, now as a professional touring performer.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say it's not the easiest music. So coming to it as a freshman, a complete novice, it was really interesting and a little difficult. And I was actually playing the character as like a fairy, beautiful fairy in the first production. And in this production, I'm more of a Dumbledore, old wise Sandman, which is different. It's fun to play it in a different way. It's great to come back to the role and the music, having learned what I've learned over the years as a singer and my technique. It's a pleasure to come back to it.
So you're singing the same role, obviously.
I am singing the same
yeah,
role,
that is very cool, because how many times have you performed something and then left it and go, boy, knowing what I know now, I would totally do some things differently.
Yes.
And you're having that chance.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Jeffrey, as you are kind of digging into this, is there anything that surprised you or is a little different than what you expected when you first took a look at the
I would
the
say
music?
so, yeah. I mean, similar to what Gwen said, the music is surprisingly challenging, and I think it's more challenging than it appears as you're listening to it versus when you're really looking at it in a score, because like a lot of modern operas tend to like get a little weird with like some chromaticism or weird rhythms, and sometimes, especially like when you're mimicking speech, the rhythms like sound natural, and then you look at them on the paper and it just is really hard to compute. So that, I would say, was the biggest surprise for sure.
Would you characterize the music in Too Many Sopranos as having a classical feel, like like an older opera, or is it more contemporary?
Very much so, I would say. It's actually got an interesting balance, because all of the modern aspects of the music, because some modern music is definitely a little hard to listen to. I do not think that is the case with this opera. I think it is very listenable, very enjoyable. But at the same time, it also quotes a lot of older operas.
As you said, we're digging into the tropes and having fun with the stereotypes. So of course you're gonna harken back to things that people will think of when they think of opera.
Yeah, a lot of the music is very much a love letter to the most famous operas that are out there.
So we mentioned the weekend of June 20th, and you'll be at CSPS. Yes, Katie?
Yes, that is correct. Thursday, June 20th and Saturday, June 22nd, both at 7:30 p.m. at CSPS.
All right, and how do we get tickets?
On the CSPS website, Too Many Sopranos. Yeah.
CSPSHall.org. I happen to know that.
Yes,
and for
thank
those
you.
watching the video, it is appearing underneath our smiling faces at this very moment. So again, it's Too Many Sopranos, originally commissioned for the Cedar Rapids Opera, and now one of the most performed contemporary operas around. So it's nice to bring it home.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And nice to have you involved again. And looking forward to the show the weekend of the 20th at CSPS. Again, CSPSHall.org if you'd like more information. And, of course, you can also visit the opera website if you'd like details. I'm sure there's a lot of information there. And, Katie, what's that?
Yes, of course. That is cropera.org.
All right. Thank you all for being here.
Thank
Glad to be
you.
here.
Thank you so much for having us.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio many weekdays at 10:30, or download the podcast, watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture, or using your favorite podcast player. You can watch our videos on the KCCK Facebook or YouTube channels too. Our producer is Lydia Kilgore. I'm Dennis Green. I'll talk to you later.